Hey everyone, and welcome. Today's video is by request. I was asked to talk about metric modulation versus implied metric modulation. I shot a video the other day, I put it in the computer, I started assembling, and I said, wait a minute, let me check some other videos to see what other people are saying, just to make sure there's not a lot of inaccuracies, because if there is, I have to do a different approach. That's what I'm doing. I'm reshooting. I'm coming from a different angle now because I found some things that were, again, perhaps a little bit misinformed. And it's not, I don't think it's anything's ever purposeful. When you hear something, it's perhaps they didn't learn properly, or they heard someone else say that's what it is and that's what they say it is, but they might not know exactly. So if you're new, if you're beginning, if you just started recently, whatever, within a year and everything else, or if you're even more advanced but don't read music, you don't know time signatures, you don't know the theory or the underlying note values and stuff, it's important to know it, especially to beginners. If you're starting and if you want to learn metric modulation, or you know what that is, or want to be able to put it together on your own, you got to understand time signatures. You got to understand note values within those time signatures. Okay, so let's go over just real quick on time signatures. You got a time signature, you got a number over a number. The top number always signifies how many beats are in a measure. The bottom number signifies what note value gets that beat. In the case of common time, I'm saying common time to see if you know what that is. That's a C. If you see a C, that's common time. That means 4 over 4, 4/4 time. 4 beats to the measure. The bottom note, the 4, signifies that the quarter note gets the beat. Got it? Anytime you got the 4 on the bottom, 2 over 4, 3 over 4, 5 over 4, 7, 9, anything over 4. The quarter note's getting the beat. The top number is just telling you how many beats are in that measure. Good. If you see an 8 at the bottom, it's telling you the 8th note gets the beat. 16, 16th note gets the beat. 32, I don't think I've ever seen that, but 32nd note would get the beat. If you see a 2 at the bottom, a half note gets the beat. And that's probably usually in cut time if you see that. And if anyone has ever seen a 1, I've never seen it, but if you see a 1, it could happen. Someone could write a piece and have a 1 at the bottom. That's telling you the whole note gets the beat. Let's go with 4/4 time. Quarter note gets a beat. Let's look at the note values from lowest to highest. Now, let's look at this. This is the progression from whole note to 32nd note, but I put the triplet values in there too, just to fill in the little gap of increasing note values. So the whole note, half note triplet. Half note triplet contains 2 half notes. So a half note triplet is equal to 2 half notes. Then we got the quarter notes. Quarter note triplets, same principle. Quarter note triplet equals 2 quarter notes. 3 over 2, 3 over 2. That's actually easy to play because it fits into a rhythm. 1 and a 2, 1 and a 2, 1. If I was just alternating. Three, 2, easy. 4 over 3 is a little more complicated thing. So if you're playing 4s, okay, triplets here, 4 here. We're not gonna go there right now. Now we go to 8th notes, 8th note triplets, 16th notes, 16th note triplets, 32nd notes. 32nd note triplets. We're not going to do that. All right, so let's just play through that just so you hear each note value, and start ingraining. If you don't know the note values, start learning, because you're going to need it. In the time signature, 4/4. Here we go. 1, 2. I'll keep the beat with the bass on the beat. 2, 3, 4. not going to go complex. By complex, I mean putting 5 in there, or 7, or an 11, whatever. But I could put the whole note, 2 half notes, 3, the triplet half note is 3, 4 quarter notes, and then I could put a 5 in there. I could put a 5 representation, and then the 6 is the quarter note triplets. And then I could put a 7 in there, right, etc. 8 is the eighth notes, 9, 10, I could do that. I'm keeping the complex meter things out, all right? Those are complex. Now, we have that range in there to play with. You know the note values in there. You can mix and match and play within a time signature of 4/4, however you want. Okay, what is metric modulation? That's why we're here, metric modulation. What is implied metric modulation? Well, I looked at some videos and I wrote down what some definitions that were online videos and stuff. And I mean, I wrote down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got 9 of them that I wrote. I could have done more. I just put 9 down. And I'm not going to tell you who they are, but I'll give you the definitions that they said. That's word for word how they worded it, okay? So one channel said, metric modulation is when you change the pulse or the count of a beat with a different time or a different note value from the previous pulse. Another person says metric modulation is a tempo change where one subdivision becomes another one. That was the definition there. Another one, metric modulation is when the tempo actually changes. Implied means implied tempo change. Beat changes, tempo remains the same. Another one, metric modulation is going to sound like we're either speeding up or slowing down while staying rooted in our original tempo. So it's really just an illusion. Okay. Metric modulation is basically when a note's value gets a new value. Example, eighth notes become eighth note triplets. You can call this a tempo change as well, but the new tempo comes from the old tempo's eighth note values. Just a few more here. I'll just read it go. Metric modulation is a way to modulate or to move the rate of speed. So we're trying to make it feel like we're going faster than the original tempo or slower than the original tempo. Tempo, so tempos. Another one, metric modulation is changing the tempo through a series of steps. And then there was an addition to that saying the combination of exact tempo markings and notated rhythmic values, right? So that was included in the metric modulation definition. Let me just write one more here. And a new metric modulation is creating a new unit of rhythm based on the subdivision of a previous rhythm. All right, that's a lot of stuff. Actually, one more. This one, out of all those, and I put X's around all those. Wrong, no. This one comes closest of this batch, all right? Metric modulation is the idea that we move from one type signature, you might have meant time signature, but it was type signature and tempo into another related time signature and tempo that are actually connected to the way that the subdivisions relate to one another. That was the closest sort of thing, at least time signature was mentioned in there. So, all right, well, and there was more. I just, boy, oh boy. So, what metric modulation is actually in the word itself. The two words itself tell you what it is. Metric is meter. Meter. If I said, what is the meter signature? If I ask you, what is the meter signature of that piece? Well, meter signature is the same thing as time signature. So the meter is 3/4 or 2/4 or 5/8 or 7/4 or whatever. That's the meter signature. Meter. Modulation, definition, to modulate, so it's to change, to vary, to alter. Let's use the word change. So metric modulation is meter change. You're changing the meter. You're changing the time signature. That's what it exactly tells you. Implied metric modulation is you're not really changing the meter. You're kind of alluding to it. You're kind of fooling people to think you're changing. The difference between the two, a metric modulation, as a modulation in a song, everybody knows a key change in a song is a modulation. So when we're talking about a rhythm or in drumming, metric modulation is meant to be for an extended period of time. If you have a metric modulation, it goes for an extended period of time or to the end of the song, right? You might only see one metric modulation and that continues. Or you could see two, whatever, but it's for a period of time. Implied just is a little short, a couple bars here, maybe 3 bars, and maybe a little bit, just to allude, and then you come back to the original, okay? That's implied. You're implying something, but you're coming back. Metric modulation is you're making a change, the time signature is changing, and then you're continuing that for a period of time or to the end of the song. That's pretty much that simple. It's inherent in the name itself. I'm going to read 2 now, and I will tell you who these people were because I found and they were the closest and the most accurate. One was a video from a couple years ago. It was Dr. C's, like Dr. C's Music Theory Land, who said metric modulation is the gradual shift from 1 meter using some sort of set relationship to arrive at another meter. Okay. Real close. I would perhaps take out the word gradual, because gradual, what is gradual? To some people, it might be like half the song. It takes you half the song to modulate. So I would take the word gradual out, but it is a shift. It is a shift from 1 meter to the other, and through a sort of a set relationship or a rhythm value or a note value that is taken from this meter and then used to transition into the new meter. But it is a change of meter. So that was actually good, Dr. C's Music Theory Land. Now, implied metric modulation, this was Stephen Taylor. And I should look him a little more. He was actually good. And this was from 10 years ago. This is a video from 10 years ago. So here's what Stephen Taylor says. Implied metric modulation is where we imply a new time signature. So that instead of going to 6/8, we imply 6/8. Or instead of going to 5/4, we imply 5/4 with our rhythms that we're playing and where we're placing the accents. Right? We don't actually go to a new time signature. We're still counting in the old. That is correct. Okay? We're still in the old song. A couple bars here, a couple bars there, but it stays in the same time signature. Let me show you an example. So those 2 people were good. There might be other people out there who were accurate. I didn't get to all the videos. And those ones that were pretty much wrong or incorrect, kept talking about tempo. It's slowing down or speeding up. No, if I'm playing 4/4 time, just playing. I'm staying in 4/4 time. I'm slowing down, I'm speeding up. I'm changing the tempo, but I'm not modulating the meter or anything. So slowing down or speeding up is not correct if you're defining metric modulation as slowing down or speeding up. Wrong. Tempo is different than meter. Meter is the top is 3/4. That's the meter. You're playing in 3/4. Tempo is the speed at which you're playing. The rhythm is the note values you're playing. putting together within the bar. That's the rhythm. So tempo is not the same thing as meter. Meter and tempo are different. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, I kept in 4/4 time, but you heard that little 3 feel. So if we were doing a little bit faster. I have an implied a time signature change. One, two, ready, go. Now, if this was a metric modulation, what you would see in music, and I'm going to show you a few examples, you would see right above that, where the break is there, above the 6/8, you would see a note value equaling another note value. It could be anything. In this case, we're keeping the eighth note value the same. The eighth note is staying 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. So what you would see there is you would see an eighth note right above it. You would see eighth note equals eighth note. That is telling you there's a metric modulation. So let me show you music now, actually, to show you how metric modulation works, or how it's designated, or all the stuff. So the other video I did, I was doing more playing, but I have to really have you understand. I want you to understand. I don't have to have you understand. I want you to understand, to see it, what it looks like, and how you know it's happening. Let's look at this piece. We got a dotted quarter note equals 152. We're in 6/8 time. 152 is clipping along. So a dotted quarter note is getting it 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. All right, it's really going along. So this is a complicated piece to play. If you're a beginner, you're not going to, even if reading music, if you're just learning to read music, this might be over your head for now. But you're going to get there. You know it. All right, so let's look at bar 17. At bar 17, what do we see? Oh, we see above there, we see a quarter note equals eighth note. What's that telling us? That's telling you there's a metric modulation taking place right there. And what coincides with a metric modulation? Meter change, remember? Metric modulation is meter, change, time change, time change. We go into 2/4, going from 6/8 to 2/4. It's telling you that's where it occurs. How is it occurring? Well, let's look at some previous measures. Let's go back to bar 12, where the roll is, and let's go to the next two. So bar 13 and 14, we have the accent. So it's, again, it's clipping along, so it's the next two bars, 15 and 16, are every other note. So this is beautiful. This is a great example how to transition. Remember, in 6/8, or if I haven't said, in 6/8 time, 2 eighth notes equal a quarter note. So those accents are on a quarter note value. 1, 2, bum, 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 bum. So it's setting up that quarter note value. 1. So that value where the accents are is now going to become the eighth note in 2/4. Okay? 1, 2, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Let's see, right, right, left, left. So this is something I have at my house. This is the Three Dances by Warren Benson for solar snare drum. We start out in 5/4 time. I'm just going to jump down. So 5/4 time. We come down to this area right here. Look what we got. Eighth note equals an eighth note. And we're going into 3/2 time. This piece has everything in it. So we start in 3/8 time. Dotted quarter note equals 69. What is this 69 here? No jokes, please. Keep it clean. All right. All right, right there. So that's the dotted quarter note. 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. All right. So that clips along, of course. All right, so let's see what happens here. We go down to, so we're in 3/8, 3 beats in a measure, eighth note gets the beat. Let's go down to bar 33. Okay, what's going on? Same thing. We see that dotted eighth note equals quarter note. Right below that, that's telling you there's a metric modulation. We're going to 3/4 time. Beautiful. All right, it's telling you where it is. How do we get to that 3/4 time? Let's go up to where the accent starts and measure 23. Just to play slow, the accents again are in the ah, so. And then right here, it starts. That is absolutely leading us into, that's the transition, and it's a little longer transition there, right, to get to the new meter. But it's telling you that those accents are on in 3/8 time. 2/16 notes equal an eighth note. So a dotted eighth note equals 3/16 notes. So we're playing that dotted eighth note every three beats. So 1, 2, 3. And within that 3/8, we're now feeling a which is still 3/8, but it's now offsetting. So the 3/8 might be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. You see how the change is happening within the original time signature. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. So this is perfectly leading into the 3/4 because those accents, that's becoming the quarter note. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Do you see that so far? All right. So they're setting up the transition by using the accents, offsetting every 3. 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's tempo. I mean, that's the count on 3/8. 1 instead of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. They're going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3. So within the 3/8, now they're giving the 6/8 feel or another triplet feel. Within that, that's leading to the 3/4 time. Beautiful. This is so perfect of an example. You apply that to a drum beat, it's the same thing. You put in the ride, you're doing the same thing, the same spacing in between where you put the accents. Now look at bar 41. What do we have going on there? So we're in that 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, whatever the tempo would be. I'm not doing the original tempo. All right. Now we're doing the offset again with the 3. Every 3, we're accenting. All right, you see those? I just played those 4 measures. So this is beautiful because now we're implying. The implying now comes in with those accents on every 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's just 2 bars of it, but it's also implying a triplet feel out of that 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 2 bars of it, implying, not changing anything, just playing. Now look at the next one, where I'll just play the accent parts of that. It's 1 E and a 2 E and a 1, 1, 2 and 1, and then back to 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let me play that again. See if you pick up anything. I didn't play the flams, I just played. I want you to hear the accents. Okay, do it again. Here we go. Two implied modulations there. First is, again, the triplet 6/4 feel. 6/8 feel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, so if I extended that in 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, ba 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 ba, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, ba 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 ba. Now you can create the beat. You're doing a beat, a swing. You can do a swing. You go into a bunch of things there. Now let me play the next 2 bars, the 16th notes. We're in 3/4 time, remember? So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 E and a 3 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E. Let me just play the accent, same thing with the accents, and I'll extend it a little bit. See if you can pick up the pattern, what it is. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. What are you hearing? Because of where the accents are placed and how they're spaced, we're getting a 2/4 feel, or a 4/4. It could be 4/4, but I'm just going to say 2/4. So 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. This is so cool. I don't know if I could find a better example of having everything in it to show you metric modulation and implied metric modulation. Remember, there's a time change in a metric modulation. Meter change. Meter modulation, modulation to change, meter change. It's telling you what it is. Not tempo change. It's not tempo modulation. Understand that. Meter change. And it's telling you. Well, that's going to do it for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Please subscribe if you're so inclined. Now go have some fun. Go drum. All I did was 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and but I was doing the beat with that. So okay, go, go.